What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Friday. Hope everybody's having a great start to their Friday. Going to go into the weekend where no Titans are being played over the weekend because Monday Night Football is coming up 6:15 Central Time in Buffalo between the Titans and the Buffalo Bills here to talk about what Ryan Tannehill said yesterday, or kind of what he didn't say. So for the second time this week, Ryan Tannehill telling Titans media to go ask somebody else to answer a question that he, in fact, was asked, and that was about the Titans being predictable on offense. So we'll hear from Ryan Tannehill and what he thought there. We'll also hear from Mike Vrabel on the same topic and Greg Cosell on the same topic. So we're going to have a good show here this morning. Zach, welcome in. It's also Friday, so we'll talk about our good news at the end of the show, and then an injury update on Kyle Phillips as well, as he missed practice yesterday with a shoulder injury. And we've got that video of Phillips getting hurt too. So let's get the show started and welcome in on this Friday.
Yeah, we got a longer weekend because the Titans don't play until Monday night. So that'll be nice. You got college football starting all day tomorrow. You had a good Thursday night football game last night. The pick six obviously changed things, and the Chargers couldn't get that onside kick, but it was a good game. And I hope everybody found Amazon Prime Video. That was, you had to go search to find that game, and it's not going to be on your cable provider. So Bezos was up there with Goodell, the two very rich men in that box. But we got a lot to talk about when it comes to the Tennessee Titans and first down predictability from Ryan Tannehill and Todd Downing. And that's something that has to change if they're going to beat the Buffalo Bills and not go 0-2 to start their 2022 season. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. That's Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We will tweet out the YouTube link segment by segment on our Twitter at A to Z Sports. Subscribe to our YouTube channel right there. It's a great subscription. We've got tons of content going out if you're a Titans fan. And we also have a halftime and post-game show if you're a Tennessee Volunteer fan. You got Akron this week. You got Florida next week. So get locked in and subscribe to our YouTube channel. What's going on Facebook, the real OGs, bottom left corner of your screen. Share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing on this show. We want you to share the show. We need you to share the show because we need to pop up in your Facebook friends' news feed. So let's get this party started on a Friday.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media as we are Nashville's on-demand sports network. We go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And also hit up those links on our Twitter and our Instagram. Hit us up on TikTok as well. But we got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out you guys with Wilson County Hyundai. Check them out and make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them in Lebanon or simply at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Plus, Farm Bureau Health Plans get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans, better coverage, better rates, better service. Learn more about a health plan for you, fbhp.com/ATOZ. And also Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. If you've been injured in a car wreck, give them a call at 800-800-4600. So, Zach, there is no secret that we all believe, and we, as in the Titans media and Titans fans who watch the Titans, believe that the Titans offense has been way too predictable under offensive coordinator Todd Downing. And I think that's can be told by simple stats, right? First down in the NFL has changed as the rules have changed, where it used to be a rundown. But now with rules to help the passing game and to open up the game as a whole, 1st and 10 has become one of the most beneficial passing downs in the NFL. But we know the Titans don't exactly follow trends when it comes to that. And Darren says, here's his stats: run, pass, punt. We've seen a lot of run, pass, punts in the Titans series over the last 18 or so games that Todd Downing has been the offensive coordinator. So Ryan Tannehill was asked specifically if he thought the Titans offense was too predictable against the Giants, and Ryan Tannehill had a pretty simple answer.
I don't know. You have to ask the Giants.
So that's it. That's the second time this week, Zach, that Ryan Tannehill has been asked a question by the Titans media where he has then turned it over to asking somebody else. The first one being this.
We were just trying to get the ball in the right hash there, so timeout wasn't really a factor. Just trying to be able to move the ball over the right hash, and we were able to clock it, so it ended up being the same type of situation.
Did you think about holding the timeout to try and make the kick a little bit closer? Like, was that a discussion that went on at all, or was the priority the hash mark there?
Yeah, you have to ask Braves about that. That's the information I got, so that's what we wrote.
So ask Vrabel about the timeout situation. Ask the Giants if they're too predictable. Zach, what do you think about Ryan Tannehill's response here?
Sounds like a company man. I don't know. You're going to have to ask the boss. I don't know. I don't know if this is frustration or, I mean, of course, everybody's frustrated that, in that building that they lost to the New York Giants at home to open the season, right? They're not happy about that. But, it is starting to stack up where, it's deflecting, right? It's not answering the question because he either doesn't, and look, he has every right to do this. He's the quarterback. He can either answer the question or say no comment or refuse to. I mean, you saw Lamar Jackson last week refuse. I mean, the reporters asked him 3 different times about his contract after he just told him, I'm not answering any questions about the contract. They don't have to answer any question, but it's starting, I think, to be a thing, and that's not a good thing. You need to answer and try to diagnose what's going on, and I think what we're trying to do is to see through the frustrations. We'll talk more about this and hear from Mike Vrabel, but Austin, I think this is maybe a bigger problem because they're a running football team. They run the football. They run the football. They're a running football team. I don't know what else to say. And what they're doing is running the football. They're not a passing football team. And I don't know if Todd Downing needs to change that, if the philosophy needs to change, but at the core, every Titans fan should know that their favorite team is a running football team. Their best player is a running back. It's not a quarterback. And so that's what we're seeing on the field is they're running the football. They're not distributing the football. I mean, they're distributing it to a bunch of different wide receivers, but they don't have a singular guy that can take over a game. Look at last night. If you watched last night's game on Amazon Prime, Keenan Allen was out. So the next big guy was Mike Williams. Mike Williams stepped up. He had a big game. They ended up losing, but they relied on their guy. The Titans are a running football team, and they tend to rely on their running back, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, before we get back to Mike Vrabel on this, Chris says Ryan Tannehill was pissed when they called the timeout before the delay game. He obviously knows we needed to say the timeout. Dumb question. Everyone knows they need to say the timeout. It's not a dumb question. It was the right question because Sam Phelan followed up with the right question to follow up there to get Ryan Tannehill to answer. So, Chris, not a dumb question at all. It was actually the perfect question.
Who is
because we got the response from Tannehill.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're trying to find that out. And if you don't ask, you don't know. I mean,
right.
that's a life lesson.
Yes. And I guess Chris is just saying the media should not ask questions because we already know the answers, right? That's a stupid comment.
You're trying to figure out why you're losing, right? So why did you lose to the Giants? Well, was it your first down run predictability? Was it the lack of game and time management at the end of the fourth quarter? Was it coming out with back-to-back 3-and-outs at the beginning of the third quarter? I mean, we're trying to figure out where things went wrong because at the end of the day, they were leading 13-0 at half and got the football to start the third.
Yeah, right. And so here's Mike Vrabel when John Glennon asked him earlier this week about running the ball on first down. And then I've got the stats for you on how the Titans ran versus passed on first down.
Like I guess the number of first down runs for Derrick, I mean, a lot of people are saying too predictable. But on the other hand, is it only too predictable if you don't gain enough yardage, if they don't succeed?
That's pretty much your job and my job. That's what That's what happens around, the second guessing. I mean, we've had a lot of successful, first down runs. We want to have a lot of successful first down runs and passes on Monday. And so, that's the battle that everybody wages, especially, our focus is on Buffalo and going up there and making sure that we have a plan that whatever we do on first down, the players understand, that they believe in, and that they have an opportunity to execute it.
So there's Mike Vrabel early in the week answering that. So here's are the stats, Zach. The Titans overall for the game ran the ball on first down 19 times. They passed the ball on first down 10 times. That is a 65% run percentage there, right? So 65% of the time for the entire game, they ran on first down. Now, remember with that last drive of the game, what was it, a 2-minute drill? The Titans had no choice but to throw the football there to come back. So let's remove that last drive, right? And so they threw the ball on that last drive 3 times on first down. And then Ryan Tannehill lost 2 yards on the run to go to the right hash to set up the field goal. So that's 1 run. So you take that out, and they ran the ball 18 times to 7 on first down, not counting that last 2-minute drill. So that's 72% of the time where they had a choice. They ran the ball on first down. 72% of the time when they had a decision to make to run versus pass, they ran the ball. How do you feel about 72%?
Well, it obviously is too much. I'm trying to kind of diagnose what Todd Downing is thinking. Is he worried? Like, is he too scared? And I'm going to use that terminology. Is he too scared that if you're going to have an incomplete pass on first down, that you can't run on second down, that you're going to be forced to pass all 3 downs, and he doesn't trust his wide receivers?
Yes, that's
what it feels like. I mean, based on those statistics, it feels like he doesn't want to throw the football on first down because it's going to kill the run game, which, I mean, there's so many different ways to play this, right? I mean, that's why you have different packages, different schemes, different plays. I mean, all of that. I go back to my original point. This is a running football team. You cannot ask them or pray for them to be something that they're not. And if they are a running football team, what do they have to do? They have to run the football, and they're doing it a hell of a lot on first down.
Yeah. And so, scared to pass on first down. Of the 7 passes on first down, how about this? Touchdown pass to Dontrell Hilliard on the opening drive of the game. The 22-yard catch by Cody Hollister in the first half was on first down. The 27-yard catch by Traylon Burks in the third quarter was on 1st and 18 after a holding penalty on Aaron Brewer. And, oh, by the way, the second touchdown catch by Dontrell Hilliard was on 1st and 20 after the other holding call on Aaron Brewer. So there's 2 touchdown passes and 2 20-plus yard gains by throwing the ball on first down. It seems like he shouldn't be scared to throw the ball on first down because they clearly had success with big, explosive scoring plays on 4 out of the 7.
Maybe that's his identity as a offensive play caller. And Lee says, throwing sometimes opens up the running game. I thought, notoriously that's not what the Titans do, but you saw that more in 2020 under Arthur Smith, throwing the football to open up the running game because there was threats, right? I stand by going into this season is the Titans really, like we all, didn't know what they had. They didn't know what Robert Woods is, and they don't know what Traylon Burks is. They don't know what Kyle Phillips. They don't know Austin Hooper. They have not played meaningful football together. And I know that happens a lot in the NFL and restructuring rosters, but I think they went into game 1, week 1 against the Giants with a lot of doubt and question marks about their offensive roster, about the playmakers of their roster. The one thing that they knew is Derrick Henry. And that's what they did. And they did it a lot in the first half, right? Derrick Henry ran a lot in the first half. The only thing he only ran it 9 times in the second half, if I'm correct.
That's correct.
And that, you cannot do that with a 13-point lead. The problem is that 13-point lead disappeared real quick in the third quarter.
Yeah, and I did see, I hated on an earlier comment from Chris Bork on Facebook, but I got to bring up a good comment from Chris on Facebook. The Titans did lead the NFL last week in 70+ yard completion, or I'm sorry, in 20+ yard completions with 7. So 7 passes of 20 or more was the most in the NFL in week 1. So while you're saying, and I agree,
why is that? Is it because everybody is up for the run where the back half of the defense is maybe a little suspect or vulnerable, right? I mean, you got to kind of play that. There may be a reason for that. So it's a great stat, but is it because they are so predictable? Because when you play the Tennessee Titans, you know the one guy that can kill you is 22. I don't think that the fear of God is in the eyes of the defense when 17 steps on the field.
All right, so I've got a response to that, and it's something that I've been preaching over the last 2 years about the Titans offense, and we'll talk about here in a second, and also get your opinion on this. What's the right run versus pass percentage the Titans need to have on first down? I just told you, when the Titans had a decision to make, if you remove the 2-minute drill at the end of the game where they had to pass, they had no choice. When they had a decision to make, they ran the ball 72% of the time on first down. Even if you add in that last drive, it was 65%. So what's the right percentage here on this? But first, let me tell you guys about one of our great sponsors. That's the Bone and Joint Institute. Hey, we're also giving away tickets to the Tennessee-Florida game, which is sold out. And so we're giving away a pair of tickets thanks to the Bone and Joint Institute to the Tennessee-Florida game on our social media. So go check that out, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, for your chance to enter to win that via the Bone and Joint Institute. And they do a great job of getting you back to health after an injury happens. So go check them out. boneandjointtn.org is their website. Whenever you get hurt, they are the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Go see them in Franklin, state-of-the-art facility, specialists, doctors who do everything and every type of injury as well. So check them out right there at boneandjointtn.org.
BetMGM, download the app today. They are the king of the sports book. And if you see that promo code ATOZ Sports, they're hooking you up. Risk-free bet up to $1,000 for pro football. We got a lot of pro football as we're talking about it now, but all day Sunday, you got 2 games on Monday night. That's something new that the NFL in week 2 is experimenting with. The Titans are a part of that. So you can go bet at A to Z Sports right there, that promo code. When you sign up and you are a new user, you get a risk-free bet up to $1,000.
All right, so the question we're asking now is, what is the correct run versus pass percentage the Titans need to have on first downs? Because I told you the stats for the full game. The Titans ran the ball 19 times to 10 throws on first down. That's 65%. If you take out the 2-minute drive where the Titans had to throw the football there, it's 18-7, which is 72% of the time. So Zach, I'll send you the chat. What is the correct percentage for run versus pass for the Titans on first down? I'm seeing a lot of similar numbers, but definitely the chat thinks they're already unbalanced.
Yeah, a couple of 50-50s right out of the gate from Tavon, 28-10, and Dylon, 50-50, don't be predictable. Scott says 55-45, 60-40 from Patrick, 60-40 from Eric, 55%. And to clarify these percentages, I assume run versus pass
yeah,
first,
run
right?
first, right? Yeah, run first.
They're a running football team. They have to run the football.
And I don't think okay. Jorge, I say Jorge's 45-55. So run more in second down. So there haven't been a lot of people that I think are under 50% run on first down. Yeah. Which I think is the correct thing. It needs to be over 50%. It's just not 72%.
Well, you have to utilize the threat of the fact that you are a running football team much better. And I think that's where they struggle.
And that's what my point was that I teased before the break there, is that I feel like I've been saying this for over 2 years now. The Titans have already established the run game. When Derrick Henry walks into the stadium for that day's game, the Titans' run game has been established, right? People know when Derrick Henry's playing that they're going to give the ball to Derrick Henry a lot and that Derrick Henry is really good. The only time that they could not establish the run game is after Derrick Henry broke his foot and was out for 9 games. With Deontay Foreman and Hilliard, okay, yeah, establish the run because you don't have Henry. But when Henry's there dressed out going through warm-ups, consider it done. Like, they already know you're going to do it, so use it to your benefit, right? That's at least what I think.
No, I think you're right. I think that's where Todd Downing has fallen short, and that cannot continue to happen. I think they have to figure out, but I also think that there's a learning curve. That's my point. Is like I don't know if Todd Downing knows what he has, and I don't think he trusts necessarily what he has. At least through one week, I don't think he does. And by Ryan Tannehill's answers, I mean, I think this tells you just asking Ryan Tannehill a question and him answering.
I don't know. You have to ask the Giants.
You know what? When somebody answers a question like that, it's like I don't know. I don't know what an analogy would be, but I don't know. You'll have to ask them. You'll have to. Are you happy? I don't know. You'll have to ask her. Right? Like that's not a good response. We're not going to ask the Giants. The Giants have moved on. So he's basically told. Again, we understand it, but like he's told that reporter to go ask somebody that they cannot ask. Right? That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
So I think that the frustration is starting a little bit. It's week 1. I'm not trying to overreact, but the frustration is seeping out a little bit based on what Ryan Tannehill's answering.
Yeah, and I think Sam's stat from earlier in the week is really the true disservice about the play calling tendencies and predictability because, like we've said, they ran the ball 19 times overall on first down. 18 of Derrick Henry's 21 carries came on 1st and 10 or longer. 18 of Derrick Henry's 21 carries came on 1st and 10 or longer. In the game against the Giants, the Titans ran 19 plays on 2nd and 3rd down and less than 5. And again, my other stat and rule for the Titans offense, if you have 2nd and 5 or less, just run the ball with Derrick Henry and see what that sets you up on 3rd down with. The fact that Derrick Henry only got 3 carries on non-first down plays, that's ridiculous. So you're being predictable in 2 different ways. It's not that you're being predictable and just running the ball with Derrick Henry. You're being predictable in running on first down with Derrick Henry and not running on any other down with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, well, are you trying to fool yourself, right? Are you trying to fool them? I mean, right? Like, what? Why are you doing that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Is that
know.
you'll have to ask Todd Downing?
Yeah, you'll have to ask. Yes, you have to ask Todd Downing.
You'll have to ask the guy who's calling the plays.
I can't wait until somebody says, "Well, you have to ask Tim Kelly," because we can't ask Tim Kelly because the Titans won't let him talk to the media.
Now that would be playing chess instead of checkers.
Oh God, my head will explode if somebody says you have to ask Tim.
Yeah, but this offense needs some depth, and I think the other struggle is, you're coming off of an offense from Arthur Smith that was so dynamic, that was so good, right? Because of the players, but the running back and quarterback are still the same. The wide receivers are different, but the play calling is different. That's the key. Arthur Smith is not Todd Downing, and Todd Downing is not Arthur Smith. And the reason why Arthur Smith is the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons is because of that. You can definitely see the discrepancies between the two coordinators. And Austin, it's not going to take much longer for an inept offense to start calling for heads, and that being Todd Downing. It's not going to take long. We're already starting to get restless because of what the carryover was from the playoff game. These Titans fans aren't going to hold out for long for Todd Downing if he doesn't change some of his ways.
Well, here's my fear. I don't think it's going to change because I don't think the person in charge thinks it's a problem. I'll tell you why here in a second, but Zach, tell everybody about Farm Bureau health plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com is where you need to go to get your next health plan. And I had my next health plan. I've had a couple of health plans prior to Farm Bureau health plans, and my next health plan was FBHP.com/A to Z. And man, am I glad that it was. Better coverage, better service, better rates. I got all 3 that I did not get with my previous health plan. You can switch today, over 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. 75 years. They've been doing this for a long, long time. They're trusted. They can have the plan for you, whether it's you individually, whether it's a family, a small family, a family of 5. It doesn't really matter. The perfect, I always talk about perfect make and model for our other sponsor when it comes to Wilson County Hyundai. They have your perfect plan. You just have got to kind of take that chance, do the health assessment, and get the quote. That's fbhp.com/A to Z. That's fbhp.com/A to Z. Get a quote today.
Also, download the BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 on pro football with your first bet for pro football right there. So, hey, A to Z Sports Picks coming up later this afternoon at 2 p.m. with Alan Bell and Brian Edwards, presented by BetMGM. So check out and download the app with code ATOZ Sports for a risk-free bet up to $1,000 on pro football after your first deposit here live on this Friday. Zach, will the Titans offense change? And change by meaning being less predictable, because they ran the ball 65% of the time on first down. If you remove that last drive, they ran the ball 72% of the time on first down when they had a run pass choice to make. And so the problem of why I don't think it's going to change is because I don't think Mike Vrabel thinks it's a problem. And the reason why is because of what Greg Cosell told Buck Rising earlier this week.
Again, first of all, they had great success on first down, both running the ball and throwing the ball. Henry was 17 for 73 on first down. Now, that's 4.3 yards a rush, which every coach would take. What was lacking in this game was there were really no big explosive runs by Henry. He had an 18-yarder. And other than that, there were no real big runs, which I think everybody just gets used to him making every game, Buck. But there weren't those in this game. So 17 for 73 is pretty good. Now, Tannehill was 9 for 10 for 135 and 2 TDs, with 6 of those completions resulting in first downs. So, yes, you could look at those numbers and say, wow, they should throw it more. But, my guess is that when they evaluate this game and their first down plays and their first down approach, they're going to feel pretty good about it within the context of what they do. They are a running football team first and foremost. I don't think fans in Nashville would probably say, let's stop giving the ball to Derrick Henry. So overall, I think their first down ratio was probably what they would like, and they were very successful on first down.
So there's Greg Cosell there. And Zach, do you agree with what I'm saying? Like, Mike Vrabel doesn't view this as a bad thing. If he says, okay, you're averaging 14 yards on first down passes and 4.3 yards on first down runs, Mike Vrabel's going to say, I'll take it. Right? Do you think so?
Well, it's when look, all of those things are correct. And I'm glad that Greg Cosell confirmed what I said is a running football team, right? So they're not going to flip the script and be 60 to 70% pass on first down, right? It's just not going to happen. You have to find a way to give Derrick Henry the football. So to what you're saying, Austin, is the coaching staff, and they're doing some, diagnosing. So I'm not sitting here just saying that they're chalking this up, but is this just a blown coverage and bad clock management and a missed field goal to sum up why they lost? Digging a little deeper, I do think that they have to throw the ball more to their targets. My issue has been, and I said it earlier, we even we did a reel on it on our social medias. Mm-hmm. If you look across the landscape of the NFL, the best players, the best wide receivers get the football and are bar none the leading receiver for their respected team. The Titans don't have that because they've had success with Derrick Henry being that, right? When I read Tyreek Hill, Michael Pittman Jr., Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, all of those type of guys, that's the Derrick Henry of the Tennessee Titans. But when Derrick Henry only has 82 yards and not that big run, where is it? Where else does it come from? And in Sunday's game, it came from Kyle Phillips, which is not a bad thing, but it is in the fact when you have Traylon Burks, a first-round pick, and Robert Woods, a guy you traded for, that is pretty much obsolete towards the end of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And I think my thing where Greg Cosell is not wrong. The stats are the stats. 17 carries for 73 yards or 74 yards for Derrick Henry on first down. It's pretty good. But the problem is he only had 4 carries not on those first down plays, right? So he just needs the ball in other situations.
Because you need to get into third and shorts, right? And to get into third and shorts, you have to have successful second downs.
Right. Here's the problem. So I just tracked this. The Titans had 5 possessions in the first half. On all 5 possessions, the first play of the drive was a Derrick Henry run. Those 5 Derrick Henry runs to start the drive only totaled 14 total yards, which is just 2.8 to start the drive. So on average, the Titans started their drive on 2nd and 7 at bet, right? That's not even the true thing. It was more like second and in between 7 and 8. So now you're in 2nd and long because you weren't as productive on first down as you wanted. I think a lot of this gets blown out of proportion because, he had that 18-yard run on a first down play, but it was already once they had moved the sticks in a drive. Where they need to be less predictable is the fact that they ran the ball. They had 11 total possessions for the game. They ran the ball in the first play of the drive 9 out of 11 times, and one of the 2 they passed it was the 2-minute drive at the end where they had no choice. And so that's the problem, that 90% of the time you ran the ball in the first drive or the first play of the drive and didn't have a ton of success there, which then puts you behind the 8 ball. The irony is they scored 3 times on their 5 opening drives. So there again, Mike Vrabel will see, well, we scored 3 times by starting 2nd and 7 or longer. I don't see it being a problem.
So on this topic, what do you want Todd Downing to do Monday night in Buffalo?
I want there to be a play action pass on the first play of a drive. For the love of God, just do something differently. I'm not saying pass the ball.
Well, they did that to start the Cincinnati game, you remember.
I'm not saying the first play of the game. I'm just saying the first play of and again, what was wrong with that first play against Cincinnati? Jesse Bates only had 1 route to guard, and so he jumped it. It was pretty simple. So Claude House says it's going to be a run, Austin. The first play of the game, yeah, it's probably going to be a run. But we just told you they had a lot of success. They averaged 14 yards per first down pass attempt. So just do that a little bit more. We're not saying switch it up. I'd rather give Derrick Henry more carries on 2nd and 5 than I would
get to 3rd and short.
Yes.
It's not physics. It's not rocket science. You have to have a good second down play to get to 3rd and short. If you watched the game last night, the Chargers and the Chiefs, they got into a lot of 3rd and shorts because they were successful. Both different offenses, granted, but the philosophy of football is very simple. Is because you're now, and this is what happened a lot last night. They got into 3rd and shorts, and not always did they convert those 3rd and shorts. But then you're in decision mode. Now the coach can take it into his own hands. Do you punt the ball on 4th and 1? Or do you QB sneak it like they did with Herbert last night on 4th and 1 and get it and extend the drive, right? Mm-hmm. You're extending your decision-making as a football coach within your offense. And when you don't have 3rd and shorts, you don't have those decisions. When it's 3rd and 3, your ass is going to punt. When it's 3rd and 4, you're going to punt. So that's, I think, the issue that we're bringing up. The best part is Monday night, we're going to find out how they're going to adjust. And just like all of the people in the chat and you and I, Austin, we've had a chance to diagnose it was a loss, but, week 1, see what they did well and see what they did poorly and see how they're going to adapt moving forward to change the end result.
Yeah. And Clout House says the Titans threw the ball 33 times on Sunday. Yes, that is correct. Ryan Tannehill had 33 pass attempts, but 7 attempts came on the last minute and a half when they had to go down and kick a field goal.
Right. And if they would have sealed the game before, instead of giving it to Chig on a jet sweep, it wouldn't have been 33 passes. So it's just, the devil is in the details when it comes to that.
Yes.
And so you -7, maybe they throw 2. I don't like doing math on air, but now you're around that 25 range of passes and your stat line looks completely different.
You flip it. Instead of 33 pass attempts, 26 rushes, it's probably 33 rushes, 26 passes.
And that's where the Titans want to be. They don't want to be.
Usually they win.
Yeah, exactly. They want Ryan Tannehill to throw the ball 25 times. They don't want him to throw it 40. They want him to throw it 25 times because that means as a running football team, your running back and your running game is doing their job.
Right. So overall, is the Titans offense predictable? Yes. They ran the ball 90% of the time on the first play of the drive. They ran the ball 72% of the time on first down minus the 2-minute drive. So is the offense predictable? Yeah, they are. That's the answer.
It's okay.
90%.
Good.
90% on the first play of the drive is predictable. 72% of the time on first down is predictable. Doesn't mean it can't be effective. It can still be effective, but it's predictable.
So here's something. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's not like, a basketball team can be a very predictable offense because the star player is going to get the shot, but it still means it can be effective because that guy's good enough.
Yeah, well, and when the predictability works, it's pretty awesome, right? Like when the Chiefs are predictable, Patrick Mahomes is going to throw the ball all over the yard, right? When the predictability works for Derrick Henry, it's amazing. We've seen the 170, 180, 205 type games that the Jacksonville Jaguars just can't stop, right? Like it's amazing, but the predictability doesn't work against all teams. And the hard part, I think for me, the hardest pill to swallow is, and we'll talk more about this on Monday with Taylor Lewan after the game in the locker room. I actually think that Taylor Lewan, the self-awareness and team awareness, I was proud of to hear Taylor Lewan say what he said. We'll play that video and audio on Monday as the Titans don't play till Monday night. But looking at what the Titans do, if they can run the ball effectively, they can beat anybody. We've seen it. But when they can't, they're hamstrung. And the hardest pill for me to swallow from Sunday's game is they were up 13-0 against a bad team. They were up. Now, listen, they were up 13-0. They get the ball back to start the second half against a bad football team. Mm-hmm. Daniel Jones was the quarterback. Mm-hmm. And the one guy that could beat you was Saquon Barkley, and he ended up beating you on top of a blown coverage and then bad play at the end, as we all know. We saw how the thing worked out. Yeah. I would still be saying that same thing if Randy Bullock hits the field goal. How do you relinquish the 13-point lead that you had at halftime to even get to the point of putting it on the leg of Randy Bullock? Yeah. That's their problem.
Yeah, and I heard Buck talk about this on primetime this week, is that, in the locker room, the media was waiting for Randy Bullock, and some of the other players, that Buck didn't name them, were saying that you guys can't swarm Randy and, put this on him. The players on it. It's true, because you never should have been in the position to need Randy Bullock to hit a 47-yard field goal as time expired to win.
And I'm glad that Buck said that, and I'm glad that the players say that, because that's the damn truth.
Yeah,
it's not right, but Titans fans feel that. Titans fans are not stupid in that. They do not sit there and blame Randy Bullock. You blame the coaches for, instead of a 47-yard field goal, maybe getting a 42 with better time management. You blame it for on 3rd and 1 getting a first down and extending the lead so it never even gets to that point. All of those things are the facts, and I don't think that Titans fans are naive to that. I do not think that they blame Randy Bullock. They were probably at the stadium, but for everybody else that was at home watching the Cincinnati Bengals against the Pittsburgh Steelers, kickers miss kicks.
They do, especially in week 1. So Malachi has a good comment to wrap up the predictability conversation before we move on to Kyle Phillips and his injury. Malachi says, you can't be predictable when it's one player. The Chiefs throw on first down, and it's 4 or 5 guys who are out to catch the football, right? And I think that's a good point. is because when you are a pass-heavy team and teams know that you're going to throw the ball, they just don't know the direction it's going to go or the route concepts or who's going to catch it. When you're a run-first football team, it's pretty easy to know the guy behind the quarterback is going to get the ball.
Right. But, I agree with 100%. It's a great comment and then a good response there from you. But the concept of running the football is physical. I'm bigger, I'm downhill, and I'm going to move weight. And Derrick Henry, my guy, who we just gave the football to, is going to run you over. So, yes, there is some philosophy and nuance and nice scheme when Patrick Mahomes, I mean, it is unbelievable. The sidearm touchdown that he threw last night was unreal. That's not the Titans' philosophy. It's brick on brick. Who's going to win? And Taylor Lewan and Ben Jones and the offensive line, they are going to move you so Derrick Henry gets into and does what he does best.
Yep.
That's the differences of philosophy. Both work. But if you feel like you're more physical than the other guy, then I'd honestly rather have the Titans' philosophy because bigger and better players move weight. It's easier to run if you're bigger and faster and stronger than the guy that you're going up against, whether you're an offensive lineman or you're Derrick Henry against a linebacker or safety or corner.
No, I don't disagree. I quickly looked at our Twitter mentions, and there's a Twitter account whose name is following us. It's run, pass, punt, #fire Todd Downing. That's just the temperature of Titans Twitter right now when it comes to all of these conversations that we're having about the offense. So A to Z Sports here live on this Friday. Zach, let's talk about Kyle Phillips because Kayla Anderson tweeted out a video yesterday of Kyle Phillips getting hurt. And I don't think really anybody knew that Kyle Phillips was hurt after the game because he made that great play to get the Titans in position to win the football game. And then he showed up and did not practice yesterday, which was their first practice of the week before Monday night. So Kyle Phillips did not practice with a shoulder injury. Is that a big deal, small deal, or no deal? And we'll play the video where he got hurt. But first, let me tell you guys about our new friends at Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers. They are the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. And when you've been injured in a car wreck, you need them to fight for you. Get all the money you deserve from the insurance company. They've collected over $1 billion for their clients in Tennessee and Kentucky and will get you all the money and all the dollars that you deserve. So if you've been injured in a car wreck, you need to call Hughes and Coleman right now for a free case consultation. That's 800-800-4600 for a free case consultation at Hughes and Coleman, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans, principal office in Nashville, Tennessee.
A to Z Sports were powered by BetMGM. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 with the promo code ATOZ Sports. That's ATOZ Sports. If you have not joined, you can join today. Use that promo code. They are the king of the sports book, and man, are they awesome. They will look. I bet last night. I did win because the Chiefs won, so that was nice. Promo code ATOZ Sports for new users. Risk-free bet up to $1,000. Download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so we're asking the question, big deal, small deal, or no deal. Kyle Phillips did not practice yesterday with a shoulder injury, which was, I think, a little bit unexpected there. Also, Christian Fulton and Dontrell Hilliard were held out of practice as well with hamstring injuries. So that's not good either, right? Your starting corner with a hamstring did not practice, and then the guy who caught 2 touchdown passes for you in the game, your only 2 touchdowns of the game, also did not practice in that. So I thought it was interesting because I never knew that Kyle Phillips was hurt. And so I'm going to play the video here in a second from Kayla Anderson of News 2 about the play where Phillips made the big catch right before the end of the game and then was holding his shoulder. Here it is. So left shoulder, right? I mean, he immediately went to hold like the collarbone shoulder area. That looked worse than I remembered seeing it on TV. I don't know what you thought, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, maybe his shoulder is bothering him pretty well.
So I've broken both of my collarbones and I've torn my labrum. So I've had my shoulders, they're not as good as they once were. When you do this, that's not good. When you do this, that's something else, right? So this and that is different. He did this. I always be concerned about that. He did, it was at the end of the game. I remember this. So this is actually how I would retell it. I remember him doing this, but it's like if you've ever been in a car accident and then the dust is settled, and then if the cops have come, they're asking you questions about what happened, and they're like, and you're starting to be like, well, yeah, there's a red car to the right, and there's a blue, and you're starting to remember things, but you completely forgot about it because of what happened afterwards, right? You're concentrating on the wreck. Are you okay? All that stuff. That's exactly how I felt about this game, because I remember that him holding his shoulder, but then you move on to, okay, well, are they going to call then the timeout fiasco, right? So, well, then why the hell did they just call a timeout? They didn't get the playoff. Now, all of a sudden, they're just going to run 18 seconds and get to the right hash. Now, the Giants called the timeout. Now, the Bullock comes out, kicks the field goal, misses the field goal, and now we're in the postgame show. And I've completely forgot about this signal.
Yeah. And so I went back and looked because I'll play the video again. So it's his left shoulder. I saw it on when I went and watched the broadcast replay of that play. He came down with his elbow extended, Zach. So if you're an expert on shoulder injuries, then it came down like that, where it might have popped it a little bit or something might have happened there when he fell. And then with all that commotion of the Titans having to call a timeout, they changed offensive personnel. Phillips broke the huddle for the next play before the Titans called timeout before the play clock expired. So he broke the huddle to go line up, and then they called the timeout. They changed personnel. He came off the field and was not on the field for the Tannehill run to the right to lose 2 yards to set up the field goal. But let's watch it again. It's his left shoulder, and he landed like with his arms somewhat extended on the sideline after making the catch. So it's like his elbow got jammed into the turf there, and he did like a full roll with holding the shoulder, and then got up using his right arm and protecting that limb there. So big deal, small deal, or no deal that Kyle Phillips did not practice with a shoulder injury. I mean, he was the leading receiver in targets and yards in his first NFL game.
Well, that's why I want to say it's a big deal because of that, but I'm going to say it's a small deal because I liked how he went like that. With his shoulder, he at least put his hand on his hip.
Probably just like trying to stretch it out.
No, when it's bad, it does this, right?
True.
It goes limp, or you're holding it. Again, I've had shoulder injuries, or you're holding it up like a sling would, right? Because of something going wrong. So I'm not going to say big deal because of that last little hand on hip. If it would have just done that, I would have been like, this is not good. So that makes me feel a bit better. And here's the reason why I'm saying it's a small deal. You want Kyle Phillips to play because you want him to stack days, stack games, get more involved in the offense because obviously Ryan Tannehill trusts him. But I think it's a small deal because I think that Treylon Burks and Robert Woods are going to be a much bigger part of this offense in week 2. And so I'm not putting big deal on it. Kyle Phillips needs to practice to play. I think that's a Titans standard. He needs to practice. He hasn't practiced yet. There's still Monday night. I'm going to say small deal. I don't think it is a big deal, but I also don't think it's a no deal because of what he did in week 1.
Yeah, I think it's a small deal. I want to see what happens if he practices, because we have to remember the Titans play on Monday. So yesterday's Thursday practice was actually Wednesday. Today is Friday, but it's actually Thursday according to the Titans and how they're going through their week. And so I want to see how that progresses. I also agree, small deal. I feel like when Kyle Phillips was putting his hand on his shoulder or his hip like that, I feel like in his head he was like, act cool, act cool, act cool, act cool. Don't show me like it's he could probably feel his heartbeat in his shoulder. But like just knowing that this is the moment that he was in and the catch that he just made in that moment was, and then fighting through whatever pain this was, I feel like it is a small deal because the Titans need him. And regardless of what Traylon Burks and Robert Woods and Austin Hooper might or might not do Monday night, Kyle Phillips is going to be a big part of this offense because 3 of his 6 catches came on that last 2-minute drive. And if that's where you need Kyle Phillips and you might need a 2-minute drive or need have a drive where you got to have some points against Buffalo, and I think you got to have Kyle Phillips in that moment.
Yeah, and he was huge. I mean, there's no doubt that he was huge on that last drive. And what a better story. Like I said, I still would have said, how do you relinquish the lead that you did? But what a better story that Ryan Tannehill and rookie out of UCLA single-handedly take them down the football field to kick a game-winning kick and start 1-0. That is a better story than the story we actually got.
Yeah, for sure. A to Z Sports here live on this Friday. It is time for Ain't That Good News. But Zach, tell us all about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai. It's where you need to go for your perfect make and model if you are in the market for a new or used car. They got new cars on the lot, which include the Palisade, full-size SUV, third-row seating. It also includes all the bells and whistles. It's got snow mode, sport mode, normal mode. Both Austin and I have test-driven that vehicle. It is awesome. We love the Palisade. Also love the Sonata, which is a 4-door sedan. You can also get the Tucson, the Santa Fe. Like I said, perfect make and model. They have your model. You just got to go find it at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. They even have the Ioniq, which is battery powered. They can order vehicles. They can customize them. They can make it happen right there at wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Download the BetMGM app and use our code ATOZ Sports when you do sign up, and you're going to get a risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000 for that first bet after your first deposit. It's really easy. You download the app, you sign up, plug in our code ATOZ Sports, you make your first deposit, and your first bet on pro football is risk-free up to $1,000. We have A to Z Sports picks presented by BetMGM coming up at 2:00 Central today with Alan Bell and Brian Edwards to get you guys ready for the college and NFL weekend. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older, Tennessee only, new customer offer. All promotions, subject to qualifications, eligibility requirements. Rewards issued with knowledgeable for bets. Credit for best expiring 7 days. For problem game and support, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. Time for Ain't That Good News. So share your good news in the chat, and I will start. Zach Goodman says good news. High school alma mater is playing on TV tonight in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So that's good for Zach Goodman. My alma mater is playing against its biggest rival. So it's Brentwood Ravenwood tonight, Battle of the Woods. I almost forgot about it until that Zach Goodman's comment there kind of teased me on that. So Zach, what are some other good news that you see there in the chat from the people?
So I'll give some time for more comments to roll in. And my good news is actually it has to do with high school. It all kind of comes full circle. So I was getting my hair cut this week, and I walked in and I get flagged down, and I feel like everybody, growing up will resonate with this. You know how you have like your best friends that you go over to their house, you spend the night, you hang out throughout the course of middle school and high school, and you get to know their parents and then, their little brothers. It's just like a core family. It's your friend's family. I have not seen the father, a guy named Mike, who was my good friend in high school. His dad, Joe, walked in and flagged me down and saw me. I hadn't seen him in God knows how long. And we sat there and we caught up for a second. Like I used to spend the night at, his house for years at high school. And it was like, I don't know, it's kind of like a time machine for a little bit, reminiscing on the high school experiences that we had and all the good times and catching up to see what, his life. Again, I haven't talked to him in a long, long time, catching up. My friend Mike lives in New Hampshire. He went to Richmond. So we fell out of touch. He's got a whole new life up there. So I hadn't, again, out of sight, out of mind. But that's my good news. It kind of went back down memory lane this week randomly when I went in to get my haircut.
Wow. That's some crazy good news there. Jacob says, my good news is getting to work from home today, allowing me to watch the show instead of driving 2 hours a day, teaching classes for work early this week. How about this, Alonzo? My son picks a lottery ticket for $5 at Speedway and wins $2,000.
Alonzo.
Now, see,
or I should say Alonzo's son.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Like, because Alonzo, how did your son get that $5? I don't know how old Alonzo's son is. I guess to play the lottery, you have to be at least 18. So it's probably his money. If it was like, his son, using allowance money for that, then maybe Alonzo deserves a cut. I don't know about that. Do you think Alonzo deserves a cut?
No, whoever bought the ticket.
You don't think,
unless it is talked about before, it's whoever bought the ticket. That's my stance.
Okay, fair. G-Man says, good news. Weather has been amazing. No humidity this week. Yeah, I love waking up and just walking outside and feeling the beautiful crisp air. So my good news is actually, so yesterday, what was it? I guess Wednesday night, Thursday morning, didn't get a lot of sleep. One of my dogs had a little GI issue, which caused me to be up through most of the night. And we were worried what was going to be going on with that. But the good news is in over 24 hours, no more problems. So we got caught up on sleep last night and she is feeling much better after that. So I thought, didn't know if there was going to be a vet trip in the future or not, but she feels great. So good news, avoiding bad news on that potential issue. And all the things were able to be done outside and not inside the house too, especially in the wee hours of the morning when things are kind of, you never know what's going to happen. So my good news is healthy pups moving forward. And I've got like a super relaxing weekend because last weekend, first week in the NFL and a big weekend for college football. This weekend, kind of a chill college football weekend, not like a ton of big time matchups after a lot of big time matchups the first couple of weeks.
I'm looking forward to obviously Ole Miss, Georgia Tech, which nobody else is, but sneaky game, Penn State, Auburn at 2:30. That one has caught my eye and caught my attention, and I will be watching.
That's really the main matchup nationally that's interesting. So there's not like Miami versus Texas A&M.
Well, that would have been game day if Texas A&M didn't wet the bed.
Yeah, and A&M changing the quarterback too. They benched their guy. They're starting Max Johnson, who the LSU transfer. So that's interesting there too. But then so I've got like a chill weekend Saturday because Tennessee plays Akron. That's a chill, and then no Titans on Sunday. So a little bit of relaxation Saturday, Sunday compared to last weekend having a lot of moving pieces. So looking forward to that, spending some time with my wife and family over the weekend there too, before a busy Monday night for Titans Bills.
Big Ten Jeff has some Big Ten good news saying Notre Dame fans are coming back down to earth after losing to Marshall. Louis says older brother surprised him by driving up from Alabama to New York to come see his recently purchased home. That's awesome, right? You're showing off the new digs. That's always a feel good for that. Let's see here. Good news. 1-year-old daughter started walking. Look, that's monumental, right? It's growing up. And I saw another one. Let's see here. And B Bird says, made it through the first week of teaching my little. So I assume there's a teacher right there, or maybe just kids.
Or sorority. I don't know.
Good. And Demetrius got a promotion to his job. Congratulations to Demetrius. There's some good news all around on this Friday.
Darren says C-section scheduled for the wife on 10/17, so they won't miss a Titans game. So that, if you're going to have a baby in the football season, try to not do it during the middle of the game, or I don't know, do it in the middle of the game. And that's the way they come into the world. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, that's it for us this week. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Again, A to Z Sports Picks is coming up with Alan and Brian at 2 p.m. Central Time, and injury updates throughout today and even on Saturday for the Titans when it comes to Kyle Phillips and Christian Fulton, Dontre Hilliard, and some others as they approach that Monday night game in Buffalo against the Bills. So we'll see you guys on Monday morning. Buck Rising will see you guys on Sunday night. We'll talk to you then. Have a great weekend. See you soon.